Well, hello, my darlings. I'm Faith from Faith and Grits. Back to carry on with take 3 for my cover for my UFO swap journal that I had from Rachel. So in this video, I'm making a bit of a mess again, this time with clay, to make a sort of ornate cover for the book. So I do hope you stick around. It's a bit of a rambling video, but I'm going to do my very best when I'm editing it to try to keep it from being too long. So this isn't quite finished yet, but you'll soon see towards the end of the video. So I hope you all stick around and keep watching. So for you, I'll be back in just one tick. Right, my darling, this is the start of take 3 of the cover. I have decided on the marbling paper from the previous video. I think I'm going to go with this one because it suits the papers better from Rach's kit. So that will get trimmed down to go on the inside later because I've got that fabric strip that's going to overlap as well. So that could go off because I only need that much on either side. This will get painted off camera, the edges. Pardon me, I'm going to sneeze in. This is going to get painted as well. I am going to cover the spine with something, but before I paint this, I want to play and see if I can get some trim pieces to go on the front and back cover there, done with air dry clay. So I got this. I've sort of splashed out some treat money I had, and I bought the Stamperia border sets. And I've had a little play when it first come, so I need this out because I need to know sort of the dimensions. So I know that trim there is about 7 1/4, which is fine for what I've got in mind, because I'm going to add something else to the two corners where they join. Now, I've had this from TK Maxx on clearance, £1.60. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I've learned a little trick along the way. So let's just do it. I suspect this video is going to be very bitty, and I will attempt to edit it down the best I can, or split it. So let's see if I can get this open. Or maybe just cut it. You know, I'll have to reseal it after. This is a terracotta color. Now it's very sticky. You've got to knead it a little bit. But before I do that, get some wipes out handy. I'm not going to bother with gloves. I want to be able to feel what I'm doing. It does get very messy, but it's really easy to clean up. So a trick I found online, I've seen it several sources, is to dust the inside of your silicone mold with corn flour, or cornstarch as it's known in America. So I've just got a little paintbrush there, and I'm going to go in with my paintbrush and stick some corn flour in there. But then before I go in with my clay, I'm going to take the mold and flip it over and knock that extra corn flour out of there, because you only need that little bit. So let's get one of these. You can get, oh, this one's very sticky. You do have to knead it a little bit, because when it comes out of the packet, it's quite wet. But then, little pieces at a time, I'm going to squish into my mold. So make sure I get right down into the details. And kind of almost overfill it a little bit. Again, this is something else, mixed media-wise, it's very new to me. Very, very new to me. But I thought, right, for the UFO, It's going to be mine. Why not just go full on mixed media and have a play? Got nothing to lose. So I'm going to get that squished down in there. But then I'm going to take, I was using that bit on the end of a clay tool before, because you want the back of this to be as level. You can sand this stuff once it dries, but it's going to take 24 hours to dry. So I'm just trimming off where I've overfilled it. It's sticking to the plaster on my hand. I cut my finger the other night making making dinner. I was chopping peppers, and I managed to get my finger. There we go. That's not too bad. But I also pulled out, that came with my Cricut. And I'm wondering if that would be better. Actually, it is. Leveling that off. Now, that's all the way down. I don't, pardon me, I don't want it to dry in the mold. Because air dry clay shrinks. So the corn flour will allow me to do this. And have it all out in one piece. It's not too bad. So I want 2 more. That one was a bit longer. What is that? It's like 8 inches. 4 more. I'll do 2 more anyway, so I can always cut it. But then I'm going to go get that onto, so I think I'll leave it there for that. I'm basically going to repeat that 2 more times. No, I need one for the back. I'm going to repeat it a few more times. I'll do it 1 more time on camera. I'll make some extra pieces. They need to then go away for 24 hours to cure. And then I can start building the journal cover. So corn flour on there, knock it out, and more clay. And again, squish it in. Now, it tries to lift back out initially with that corn flour. You just got to keep persuading it to go in. I'll try that Cricut tool there as well. See if it levels off the top here. But I just can't believe the difference the corn flour makes. And I'll show you again as well when you're going to level off the extra on the top, because you want the back of this piece to be as flat as possible when you go to glue it. When you're going to glue it on, you want it flat, flat, flat. Make sure that's good and pushed in. Right, and now don't go that way from the end, because if you do, that corn flour is going to lift the whole thing out of the mold, see? So when it comes to the ends, we'll basically start in the middle. Yep, and now I'm going to go that way with my other hand. Oh, that's perfect. Lovely. Get that bit pulled out. But again, with the corn flour, it comes out so easy. So I need to make a few more of those, and then I'm going to get them on something very, very flat and make sure they're very, very straight and put them away somewhere to cure. So then I will jump back on at some point and catch up where I'm at. Right, my darlings, I changed my mind. I want to try something slightly different. Because on those outer corners of the book cover there, I want leaves to join the corners. So I've been Googling and looking it up, and the best method is to do it when it's wet. So I'm going to cut these down. I measured my cover, so that piece is going to fit there. That's for the other side. And I'm going to give myself about 5.5 inches this way to allow, because it's going to shrink. Plus, I'm going to have something covering the spine. That's the plan. Whether it actually goes to plan, we shall see. So I need to cut those down to 5.5, because I can always trim bits off those top and bottom ends. So let's pop these out of the way. Still make sure they're nice and straight, because I can always use those as embellishments, I suppose. There. So this is going to go up against here. Straighten it up a little bit. And that's going to go up against there. I'm not concerned about sticking those two pieces, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make some leaves and use something called score and slip method and do leaves on top of those drawings. So, pop this out of the way a minute. Get my leaf mold out and my clay again and the cornflower, and oh, it's gonna be super sticky now. Let's do like one corner at a time and see how that works. I don't have a pottery scoring tool, but what I do have is my pokey tool, and I'll use that. It's a little bit of a mashup. So cornflower, and the cornflower needs to go in every time. Do one of those, one of those. I thought I had another leaf mold, but these are the only two I could find, or the only one I could find. Right. And get this squished in. Go in. It's very sticky. And that Cricut tool has worked like a charm. Trim off. I'm not worried about the little fine stem and that. Or that one. I think those little fine stems that are in there are more for resin work. I think this is like a resin mold. Get lots of the bits squished in. These are a bit more fiddly. And let's see if that works. Start from the outer, from the inside out. Don't want to raise. Sorry, I'm thinking and not talking. Please do speed me up if you want to, because I want that. Oh, this is so weird to work with. That one's should come away a bit better. There we go. Let's see if they'll come off now. Lovely. And this one. Lovely. Two lovely leaves there. This one's got some, I guess what you would call sort of hairy bits. Or I didn't scrape it quite flat enough, but that's fine. Because it'll get painted in the end as well. So, no. And according to the method, you've got to mix a little bit of your clay with water. Let's have a go. Now I've done one pottery class where we used slip. Hers was much thicker than this though. Maybe I put too much water in. Get it mixed up. I could just see some of the ladies who don't like the messy stuff. They're going to take one look and go, oh, no way. Yeah, I think I've got too much water in there, but I don't have anything in here to tip it into. Try that. Sort it out better. Oops. We'll try it and see. I'm trying to get those bigger pieces to dissolve in there. Nearly. That's looking much thicker now. Put it away. Now, get this out of the way. Then, so, according to what I saw, I need to now score, come on, the bottom of that. Little lines. And the bottom of this one. And on here, score. These shouldn't need scoring because they're quite textured already. And then paint back of the piece with the slip. And then the back of this one with the slip. And slip apparently can be kept. This mixture can be kept in like an airtight container. Which way do I want the leaf to go? That way? Or do I want it to go the other way? I don't know. What shall I do? Or shall I just do that? Because I am going to paint it. Yeah, I think that. Yeah? And then on this side, I'll do the other leaf on the other corner and the other leaf on the other corner. And perhaps make some smaller leaves to be coming off. So that's my plan. I won't keep you any longer than that. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Cornflower, clay, score it then, use this, mess. Use this muddy mixture now to attach them. Cross my fingers and wait for 24 hours and see what I end up with. So that is the plan. So, my darlings, for you, it should only be a tick. Right, my darlings, back the following day, I painted the cover and this green last night. I went around the edges on the inside as well, because all that's going to be hidden. So I've got this green. I've taken 2 of those short pieces and put a coat of that green on them as a test. They're drying. So this did shrink. And I'm quite lucky in a way because where it shrank and split is actually underneath on those corners. So I should be able to glue those back on and you shouldn't be able to tell. So let's do a test fit of the book. Oh, right. So the plan is, that of course is going to go there. And that one is going to go there. Of course, now these do need to get trimmed off. And the same with this one. Pull again from that direction and there. So I've just got to figure out how to trim those pieces off. And then I'm going to paint them. Once they're glued, I'm going to paint them the same color as the book. So I've done these 2 test pieces because I want to gild these with some gilding wax. So I need those 2 pieces. I might even do the other 2 as well, just so I can test my gilding colors. I'm leaning towards bronze at the moment. But while I'm going to get this glued on and go and dig out all my wide laces, and we'll try to figure out how I'm going to cover the spine. So watch this space. I'll be back with you in just a tick. Right, back, my darlings. I've trimmed 3 sides, and I've left that one purposefully to show you just how easy it is. So I'm not even measuring it. I'm just sort of looking at the pattern on there, and I know I want just below that leaf. So this is just a craft knife. Just go down with some quite firm, slow pressure, and it just snaps right off. Easy peasy. So, gluing this on, I need to glue the ones that separated last. So I'm going to go with Call All, and not so worried about the top and the bottom, but I want that piece to be straight. If this cooperates, because I've just about given up on the beacon. So get Call All down. Okay. These things make me nervous because it's like this is a one-shot deal, isn't it? And then get this one on as, but because it did sort of stretch, or not stretch, when it shrunk, it sort of shrunk with those leaves already formed in place. I'm just glad that it shrunk from the corner and not from somewhere in the middle. So it's looking good. That piece didn't actually cure that straight, but that's fine. It's like this one-hit wonder thing, because I can't if I redo this, it's going to take me days. Oops. The only thing about this stuff, it comes out so fast. Right. Get that one down. Outside being straight. Not worried about ooze out. I'll deal with that in a minute. And then that goes there. You do get a little bit of wiggle time with Call All. More so than art. But from what I've seen, it's advised to use a solvent glue to attach the air dry clay. So it's either this or Beacon. And me and that Beacon bottle aren't friends anymore. Oh, ready. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to try to get a little bit of ooze out. I don't terribly want it because I'm going to paint it. Get some of the bigger bits. It's oozed out, but I'm confident now. It's been not quite 24 hours, but it's dry enough. It's not gonna shrink anymore. I think it's done all the shrinking that it's gonna do. Lovely. Now that needs to get set away to dry. Clean off the top of my glue bottle. And next, let's get this off somewhere level behind me. Just a sec. Now, the test pieces, sorry. I know I've used copper brads and things in there, and I want to use copper corners on the bookcase, but I've got 3. I've got a red bronze, a chocolate bronze, and a copper shine. So let's try the copper first. Get a white ready. So this is copper. And my idea is just to paint the trim the same color, but then work the gilding polish over it. A little bit around the corners. So, thoughts, my darlings? I quite like the copper. So that's copper. Let's try the other 2. I definitely don't want gold, because gold will be even brighter than that. This is the chocolate one. Quite like that as well. That's much more muted. That's the chocolate. I will hold them up better on a piece of background now for you to see. And keep these straight on my desk so I know which one's which. That's chocolate, that's copper, this is red bronze. And if you can see in there, I could still see bits of terracotta where I missed it with the paintbrush. So painting that on the cover is just going to be an off-camera job, I think. I'm going to have to sit there with itty-bitty paintbrushes. I don't know. That's quite red. It's quite a reddy bronze. But it's picking up the detail really nicely. So, let's have a look. I got something with contrast to hold it up to the camera. Try a piece of that. So that's the red bronze, chocolate bronze, and copper. So, thoughts? I like all 3 of them. Oh, that's an idea. Right, on this one, let's try a bit of all 3. That's the copper, red bronze over here. So I just use wipe my finger in between, bit of that chocolate. Because this stuff actually dries quite quickly. On the edges. And don't know. A little bit more of the red on there. But I'm also working on a much smaller piece, aren't I? Caps back on these. You want to keep them sealed as much as possible. So I had the red, the chocolate, the copper, and trying to mix them together. So copper, chocolate, no, red bronze, chocolate bronze, copper, and trying to mix them. Ooh, I don't know. I think you can get an interesting effect mixing them on the actual book cover because the piece is longer. So you can go in and mix the colours. Because I think together they look quite nice. Plus the leaves that I've got on there. I don't know. I'm going to leave these, have a ponder, have a think about it. But I do like the way that it's picking up the colour just on the relief and on the edges. So this is promising. Pop that out of the way. Now, when it came to laces and trims, I'm in a bit of a conundrum again. I'm going to pause there for a minute because I'm still pondering over the lace of how to cover that spine. And it has to be covered now because you've got to cover up this. But I'm going to let this glue cure for a bit. And then come back in and get these painted. So, back with you. For you, it will only be a tick. For me, who knows? Right, darlings, I got a little bit carried away here and just kept going. But I want to stop and pop the camera back on. I've got the pieces glued on, painted those, which took ages because you got to get into all the little crevices. And I've started with a bit of the chocolate bronze. So let me show you. Oh, pardon me. I've been awful lately. My sinuses and changes in the weather. Honestly, it's like that time of year in Wales where you're going to have all 4 seasons in one day. And my sinuses are not happy. So all I'm doing is going around with the chocolate bronze, which was the darker of the two. I know it is coming off my finger onto the book, but I can go back and buff some of that. So let's do this side together. Just a tiny, tiny bit I've done now on that side. So if the idea works, like I think, chocolate away, I'm going to leave the red bronze because I think it's too red. There's not a lot of reds in Rach's papers, so I'm going to leave the red one because it is very red, and stick with the copper and the chocolate. So if I go back with, have I got the right one? Yes, copper. Copper. I don't want much on my finger. But you are sort of picking up the finer details of the mold, isn't it? That's a bit too bright there. Sugar. Okay, take that back a bit. A little bit. too much. So you only want like the tiniest bit on your finger to brush over the top. So I quite like that effect. It's just a matter of getting the right amount on your finger and doing it really, really lightly. So I'm going to carry on. With this and watch something on YouTube, because I do like putting other people's videos on and just leave them play. They're getting the view hours, and I've got somebody alongside me chattering away while I'm crafting. I might go back and add some more of the polish through here, but I'm liking the way this is looking now. This wax dries really fast, so that's sort of what I'm looking at the moment to go around the book, and then to sort out covering the spine. So watch your space, my darlings, and for you it will only be a tick. Right, well, I'm back yet another day later. So this wax has had plenty of time to set, so that's fine. I've changed my mind about this lace. What I found was a doily that I've grunged up. It's from my tea staining stash, but I found one that fits. And it was already very grungy anyway from the tea and coffee staining, so I've just added a bit of extra grunge there. But now I got to figure out how to glue it flat. So I have a plan. Got some scrap paper here and my glue brush, and I've got this matte glue from the range. So it's like a glue and finish all in one, but it's matte, so it's not going to dry shiny. So I have used it before. I think I used it on Penelope or one of them anyway. So I'm going to glue this down. The thing is, I'm going to have to weight this with something because that keeps trying to pop up. And I want this to be properly flattened down when it's gluing. So I'm probably going to use something like the glue bottle. And then I'll put a top coat on it once I know it's stuck flat. That's the plan. So a little bit of glue out. And yeah, that way. And just get as much glue on there as I can. I think this is going to work. I've used smaller doilies and stuff before, but I've not used really big one like this. I thought about using the spray and stick adhesive. I've got some of that, but I don't think that's permanent. I think that's just like temporary spray and stick. So glue all over. I can always go back and touch up the edges, but I want the body of this to be stuck down good. And then get a layer over the top as well once this layer sets a bit. So it is coming together. Let's have a go. It's just a teeny tiny bit big. I don't care that it's squishing out. I just want it to be flat. And I can go back and do those edges. I might actually hit it with a hairdryer first, but I need to get something to sit on top of that that's not going to stick. Ah, that'll work. That'll work. So right, I'm very sticky now, so give me a tick. Right, my darlings, I have hit that with a bit of a hairdryer. It's still a little bit damp, but I think it's set enough for me to get a layer of this over the top and leave it overnight. So that's how the cover is looking. So my signatures will get glued in tonight, and my fly paper as well will go on the inside cover. And that is how the cover is looking now. Closure, I don't know. I didn't really think that through. I'm not sure if I've got enough space there. I'll think about the closure before I put this on anyway. So that's how we're looking. I'm quite liking the grungy look of that. So I'm going to call this video quits for here. And then once it's all finished being assembled, I will pop back on and do a flip through of the book as it stands now. So if you stuck with me this far, you're an absolute angel. So I'll do my very best editing this to make sure it's not too long. But I'm quite, for my first time ever attempting the clay on a book, I'm very happy with how it came out. It's a little clunky in places, but it's my first time doing it this way, so I really, really like the effect. So thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if you've ever done anything like this before. Any tips, hints, tricks. Please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and happy crafting, everyone, and hope to see you back here soon. So, from me, Faith, from Faith and Grits, bye for now.